it. But at the end of the day, you got to play well. The same things that won those other 12 games will win this one. So you got to make a decision on how you're going to play and continue to prepare with the same commitment, and you got a chance.
Top right again.
Greg Brzezinski, ABC Columbia. Coach, this is obviously, like you said, just following up a little bit what Pete said there too. The experience carries over, not necessarily the outcome. From 2009 in Tampa to 2018 in Charlotte, what's been the difference in year 6 that you've been in this game to the first year you were in it? And what do you think Coach Narduzzi's experiencing in his first go of this?
This will be, so the first one was down there in Tampa in 2009, and, we didn't punt in that game, and Georgia Tech didn't punt either. Only game I've ever been a part of where neither team punted once. That was an unbelievable experience. I think that was new for everybody because I don't think they had it in Tampa before. So that was kind of a one and done, I believe, maybe. I can't remember who was in it in 10, if it was there or not. But, it was a great experience for us. And then when we had an opportunity to get back in it 2 years later in 2011, we had a lot of guys that were in that game that, they wanted to finish. And we played maybe one of our best games of the year in that moment. I think the main thing for me back in 2009, I was so excited. It was my first year, and I was so excited to just win the division because we hadn't done that. And I was so excited to have an opportunity to go compete for our championship, first time in 20 years. And we were, I kind of had it all scripted in my mind on how it was supposed to go, and man, it didn't go that way. I think they went 86 yards on us there to win that game at the end. And I remember walking off the field in Tampa, and oranges were being thrown at us, and I'm like, man, this is just like, man, I always tell myself God never says oops, and I'm just like, I don't like that, but that's kind of what I live by. And because I was like, we're supposed to be going to the Orange Bowl, 30 years since we've been in the Orange Bowl and hadn't won an ACC championship in 20 years, and so it was a very disappointing moment. But it's ironic that 6 years later we were back in Tampa and we won the national championship. I think the biggest thing is just don't let one moment define you. Just keep working to get better and keep growing and learning lessons, and that's what we did. And I think Pat's probably the same way. I mean, he's probably thrilled to be in the game, and because his team has earned that. You start the season, everybody's kind of running the race, if you will, but only one's going to win. And, man, they came out on top, and that's all that matters. So I know that they're probably super excited to have the experience for the first time, and they're going to do everything they can to win the game, and they certainly are capable of beating us. There's no question about it. And nothing matters. You don't carry over the touchdowns, you don't carry over the sacks. You don't carry over the mistakes either. It's all about this game, and in championship football, anything can happen. But regardless of what happens, if we win the game, man, what a great opportunity for him to continue to grow their program. That's for us. That's kind of it's all built together, year after year after year, just trying to have consistency, and we've been able to do that. But it's then the biggest thing is I think that's changed is we have a consistent venue. When I first got the job, it was a different venue, a bunch, and now we've had the consistency in the venue, and you kind of know what you're shooting for, so you have this visualization year in and year out, as opposed to, all right, okay, where are we playing? All right, that type of deal. So I think it's given us a lot of stability in our league and credibility.
Second row, up third row.
Hey, Coach Trevor Grove, CUTigers.com. Jamie Skalski just played in the one game at Georgia Tech when Kendall Joseph was hurt, so I presume he'll be playing for you moving forward. How much can he help you on defense and special teams in the postseason?
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy that probably could have competed for a starting spot this year. So it's kind of nice to have a guy back like Skalski, and he's got 3 games left. So hopefully we can get 3 games. That would be awesome. But it's huge to get a player like that to be available. And we got a couple of young guys as well that we've kind of saved, if you will, for kind of this time of the year that they were kind of green lighting, and hopefully can get some help from the postseason from a couple of them.
To our right, middle of the room.
Dabo, Rich Walsh, CBS, Pittsburgh. This Pitt team, is it much different or better than that team that beat you in 2016?
You asked me that after the game. That one was pretty good. It was Peterman was at the quarterback, and man, they were really. That was a crazy game. I mean, Deshaun had maybe the game of his life. He threw for like 580 yards, but we had 3 interceptions, and I think a couple were down on the red zone. And that was an unbelievably competitive game on both sides. We couldn't stop them. They couldn't stop us. We couldn't stop them. We had more turnovers than they did, and that ended up being the difference in the game. And then they stuffed us on 4th and 1 at the end of the game, where we could have put it away, and we didn't. And then they made a great kick. But it was just an awesome game. But you know, I don't see much different. I think defensively they're exactly the same. In your grits, you know, if you can beat us, come beat us. You know, they don't give you any layups. They give you no layups. They're not a bend but don't break type of deal. They're going to challenge you, and you know, and force the issue. And then on the offensive side, they're a little different than when Canada was there, but not much. They killed us that day with all the shovel. I mean, they were running the shovel option the whole game, and we couldn't. We up the field when we should have squeezed, and squeezed when we should have been up the field, and we just could not stop them the whole game. And the quarterback played great, hit a couple big plays on us, but they're a little different schematically as far as just kind of the style. You haven't seen as much of that, but they still do a lot of shifts, still do a lot of motions. They're still run-oriented. They're still a very physical approach. That has not changed.
Second row.
Coach Jerry DePaula, Pittsburgh Tribune Review. I know coaches sometimes follow each other, you know, follow some of the strategies they use, sometimes even copy some of the strategies. What did you know about Pat before he joined the ACC?
I knew nothing about other than he was at Michigan State, you know, because I knew Mark D'Antonio. I've gotten to know him over the years. I really like Mark. And so I watched them play, and I always had great respect of the defenses that they had there and their style of play. So I just knew of him professionally, but I didn't know him. And then when he came into the league, it was pretty cool to get to know him. He's a lot like a Dazio, you know. He's just there's no gray area with Pat. You know, he's a very passionate guy, and he just loves what he does. He loves the players. I think he's about all the right things, and it's easy to see that in him when you spend some time. You know, I mean, he really loves his players, and he's passionate about you know, building a consistent program and being a winner and all those things. He just puts his heart in everything, and I love that about him. And then, so I've gotten to know him when he came in the league, and then he's one of the coaches that gets to go on the Nike trip every year. So I've had a chance to spend some time with him there as well, and just get to know him on a little more personal level. So that's really it. That's the extent of it, you know, prior to him coming into the league. But you know, really like him a lot.
Back row left.
Hey, Deba. How do you feel about your defensive team's practice this week, and how satisfied are you that they're going to improve on those areas that were of concern last weekend?
Yeah, well, they've had a great week. I mean, they've responded well. You know, we did not play well last week, but I thought South Carolina played great. And, I mean, their quarterback played lights out. Their receivers were outstanding, and they made some critical plays. But from our perspective on some things that we got to do better, we did not line up well. We were really poor with our eyes, and we did not leverage we didn't play proper technique and leverage. But we played hard. We played with great effort. They had some formational things that we didn't adjust well to. So we've had a great week. We've worked. It's a different presentation this week, but oftentimes in this business, it's kind of professional courtesy to just see if you fixed a few things. So we wouldn't be surprised to just see if they check our oil and you know, make sure we fixed it. So we've worked hard. Our guys have had an awesome year. I mean, they've had an unbelievable year defensively. They had a bad night last week, but they did some good things too. But they were eager to get back to work this week, and I think we'll play well.
Back right.
Grace Rainer of the Post and Courier. Going back to your relationship with Coach Narduzzi, were you about to tell us some funny story about Costa Rica and some cold water coming in here?
Yeah, I just remember. I mean, I'm a wimp. I'm from Alabama, so I don't like the cold, and that water was like freezing cold. I mean, I have to tell you, I like put my toes in. I'm like, there's no way I'm getting in that way. It was freezing, and D'Antonio and Narduzzi are out there like, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to get in the water. I cannot go down like this. And so I'm in that water for like 30. I was numb after 10 minutes, but we just hung out and talked for this is a couple years ago, but we just hung out and talked for like an hour in this freezing cold water. And there's nothing to it to them, like both of them, like nothing. And I am the biggest pansy you've ever seen. I didn't want to jump in, but I'm like, I'm going to have to get in this water. So, yeah, we had a good laugh about that.
Back of the room.
Sorry, thanks. Hey, Dabo, Phil Orban from WSOC in Charlotte. How valuable can the next couple of games be for a guy like Darion Kendrick, who I would expect you'll be relying on more in the next couple of years here?
Yeah, all the games have been valuable. I mean, and I think if you've watched us down the stretch, he's become a guy that's been more and more involved, and he's just a great football player. His confidence has grown. The game has slowed down to him. He's electric. He's tough. And he's passionate about it. He's one of my favorite guys because he and Christian Wilkins are two guys that probably like to practice more than any football players I've ever been around. I mean, DK loves to practice. And it's so cool to see a kid like that rolling in here as a freshman that he just likes practice. And so I just think he's going to be he's already been a great player this year, but I think he's got a really bright future. And I think all of these games are going to pay huge dividends for him as he comes back next year for his sophomore year. Just the experience and the knowledge and the confidence.